So I'm leaving Englewood Beach. I'm back here in this beautiful town, the darling of the Sarasota and greater region. If you've been to this channel before and we haven't connected, it's time. Link up with myself and my real estate partner, Caleb. That's actually where I'm headed to now. I'm going to meet Caleb to discuss our annual update, where the current market is here in Englewood, where we're headed, and we're going to talk at the end. We're going to meet down. We're going to have a real transparent, open conversation about what we're just sick and tired of and what we absolutely want to see coming here to the Englewood Easy. That's right, I called it Englewood Easy because that's the affection, the affinity I have for this area, and I think it's indisputable. Anyone who lives in the Sarasota or greater region, whether passing through, living here, or visiting, we all agree there's something unique and special about this Englewood beach town. You see, this is a rural beach town. We're just south of Venice. We're not too far, hop, skip, and a jump from that culture coast of Sarasota, but this is a unique place. Now, we've had a tumultuous couple of years. You know, before that pandemic, this was just a quiet, peaceful beach town, living under the national radar. But when that pandemic hit and people started moving down to Venice and Sarasota respectively, they couldn't help but discover this little hidden gem of Englewood. Now, Englewood, I call it home. I knew all about what this magic can be the second I drove over that beach road bridge, which we're actually walking on now. We're gonna head over that beautiful Lemon Bay corridor and see what it's like to be here as a local. But let's first talk about, since we're realtors here, maybe it's your first time to your channel. Caleb and I are both local realtors, relocation experts, new construction experts. We have our pulse on the market. We know everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, and we know the best things for you when it comes to making an investment. And today we're gonna have this open conversation about where the market currently is. Now, if you've been living under a rock, then you may not know, but this is a market that's really in a growing pain situation. Now, we've still hitting a reset from those storms. That beach has been closed for some time. You still see buildings along the way, signs that haven't been replaced. But what I've been noticing lately is things are starting to seem a little bit cleaner. Some of those buildings that had been destroyed even all the way back since Hurricane Ian and then during Helene in Milton with all of the extra flooding, it was really a major reset for this area. And a lot of the future forecasting that we did was based on optimism and looking at what's going on in the surrounding area. But what's happened in the last couple of years is a major reset for all of this region. We've watched the boomtown of Sarasota, especially that downtown area with the Quay Common area, with the Ritz-Carlton, One Park projects, you know, buildings with luxury concierge amenities, you know, that are going upwards of $2,200 to $2,300 a square foot. These are $2 million to $20 billion properties. And we talk about this, that, you know, this channel, this business that we're in, we believe in value and it's relative despite what price point you're in. You see, we cover and we cater to all kinds of families, from people who are looking for those $20,000 lots to $20 million private enclaves. We really do it all because we understand the sentiment, the value that goes into predicating what dirt is worth what. Now, we know one thing: take any beach town, USA, anywhere else in the country, and you take it and place it somewhere else, it's going to be a thriving hub where business is booming, where the infrastructure is up to par. That's not exactly the case here in Englewood. You see, we're going through a growing pains, but what we've noticed recently are some indicators. Now, we have all-time highs of resale inventory. That's not a secret. That's going on across the country. But here we're in that juxtaposition of having two different markets, that new construction market and that resale market. And quite frankly, they're both quite different. The only thing that's similar in a sense is that we share the proximity to these incredible beaches. You see, we're along that I-75 corridor. In that corridor, as soon as it comes down south and hits that Venice Island corridor and then south to Englewood, there's only so much land between that I-75 and the beach. So you're seeing new construction emerging, but not at the same pace you see inland in that Wellen Park master plan, which is a Wellen Park effect, we call it, because that master plan is the 6th fastest selling master plan, and it's investing in infrastructure that you may have heard of, topics like Minnesota Beach Road, or how about that $47 million River Road expansion. You see, those things might be happening in Northport currently and in Venice, but they're all leading to one area, to Englewood Beach. And what does that mean? What does that mean for the future? What does that mean for the current real estate market, for the locals? It means that all eyes are on Englewood. Speaking of all eyes on Englewood, aside from the cleaning up that we're seeing a reemergence of some of the same old business as usual. The international boat races, the ones that you see on ESPN, those cigar boats going 150 miles an hour. Well, their championship used to end annually here in Lemon Bay. And over the last couple years with the storms we've endured, unprecedented storms, quite frankly, I might add, but have certainly changed the way we look at new construction. We'll get into that in a little bit, but it is back. They've announced it. The boat parades are back. This town goes from quiet beach town to snowbird heaven, where everyone comes here and celebrates why everyone loves this area: the boat life, the water life, the ability to live along the Gulf Coast and live that never-ending summer, world-class fishing. It is a spectacle, and it's back. That means we're back on the national radar. And what we're seeing, as there's those lots that were destroyed over the last couple of years that deterred us from having these national events, they're getting cleared out. And we're hearing behind the backdrops, because we're involved in many projects, is a massive redevelopment. Not a redevelopment where you're going to see 20-story penthouses popping up everywhere and allwhere, but what we're seeing is that people from all walks of life, whether they're in that upper echelon of the 1% or they're just regular people like us and you, we all love this lifestyle. We hold this area, this beauty, in such reverence. There's so much value in it. But right now it's at a crazy discount. What we're seeing is arbitrage happening right before our eyes. We're watching Sarasota emerge as this incredible boom town, literally a boom town, with Lakewood Ranch, that #1 multi-generational master plan for the 6th year in a row, that downtown hub of Quay Commons, mixing in old architecture with new luxury. Now, luxury might not be for everyone. $2 million to $20 million condos might not be everyone's cup of tea. If you're a local, you might even scoff at the idea of that type of money coming here to this beautiful and quiet, quaint beach town. But the reality is we need infrastructure. We need an infusion of love, of people from all walks of life, to look at this Englewood place, this charming town, as something unique and special that needs to have some sort of preservation. But we can't ignore that we've had these storms, we've had these floods, new construction is at an all-time high, and those standards have risen. And with those standards, so have prices. It is not by accident that people are moving to droves in Wellen Park. It's because the one catalyst, the proximity to here, to Englewood Beach and Minnesota Beach respectively, this beautiful coast, and of course Venice Beach, Siesta Key, the #1 beach, all within a short drive. But that arbitrage that's going on, we see it. We have Boca Grande, some of the most expensive real estate in the country, homes selling upwards of $18 million. We have Lido Key up north, homes selling for $30 million. And why that's important? Because that matriculation comes with taxation. It comes with an adjoining of wealth classes to submit money and be able to support this infrastructure that we all love. Now, we saw the water, we saw the way that it exposed our older infrastructure. It was a kind of a hard and painful thing to watch, but it was also a major reset. Even as we're crossing this bridge, I'm looking down at the water. We'll hopefully put it in the B-roll here. That I'm looking at the pier that I used to go fish, where Caleb and I shot several videos. A pier that we thought was a little quiet spot, still being rebuilt. You see, we need that money, we need that matriculation to come in, and it's coming, but it's starting not where you think. It's starting from those 300s and starting from those 10 to 12 millions. And let me tell you what I'm seeing. I'm seeing, because things become unaffordable, because of where interest rates have been, this whole country has been in a tumultuous whirlwind, politically, economically. It's been a tough go for many Americans. So people are making decisions based on economics. And because when you look at this area, people in Sarasota, people in Venice may have either been priced out. Their initial adventure of coming in here and securing one of those $200,000 and $300,000 ramblers became a far-fetched dream. But in Englewood, that pocket still exists, because dirt compared to dirt anywhere else along the coast is at an extreme value. Talking about like $26 a square foot for dirt, where you can take, whether it's a $300,000 Rambler or a $20 million estate, and that relative value passes on immediately. So we need everyone of all walks of life to come here and invest. So we're seeing a market that's stabilizing, not across the country, but in this micro market, we're seeing infrastructure with Minnesota Key, with River Road, with new commercial shopping centers slated to come here. But we have so much more, such a much longer road to go. But I think the future is bright. So let's focus on why some of those indicators, aside from everything we just discussed. New construction, there's a new construction boom here. That Wellen Park corridor, as we said, is extending down here into Englewood. And as it does, there's an emergence of new neighborhoods. We've talked about it before, but we have Taylor Morrison, a very reputable brand, bringing in that Esplanade brand down here into that Winchester River Road corridor, which is just a hop skip where I am right now. And they're bringing in 800 plus homes from the 400s to the 1.5 million along that public golf course, Mayaka Pines Golf Course. And it's an absolute amazing addition to this rural town, because it's going to bring in 800 other households who adhere and love the lifestyle that made us fall in love and stay here despite the storms, despite where the market is. We're all here because we're in love with the same reasons, all of that natural wonder. And along that corridor, you see wealth balancing out. You see a $400,000 home price point starting at Taylor Morrison. You also have 60 lots on the other end of the enclave being built by John Cannon, a bespoke type of luxury builder who has an incredible reputation. But his homes are ranging from the 2 millions upwards of 6, 7, 8 million in this particular quarter, and 20 million if you take that same home and put it on a Siesta Key lot. Are you getting the idea that this is a place where, you know, historically, even down the road, Boca Grande, where fishermen and billionaires rubbed elbows? What does that mean? What does that tell you in that translation? This is a place where people put down the pretentious act. They don't care about where you came from. They don't care about how much money you have. They care about if you're enjoying the same sunset that they're looking at, that they're admiring and romanticizing about. They care that you care about that gopher tortoise that's crossing the road. It's a regular occurrence for Caleb and myself to stop in the middle of the road. Everyone stops because they know what we're doing. We're helping that turtle get across the road. You see, that's part of the balance of being here in the Englewood Easy. You adhere to nature. You have to understand that this place needs a love, some kiss and hugs, little tender love and care to bring it back to where it was. But where it's headed is so much different, so much more than what you're expecting. You see, we have voids here, but we're seeing it. Tourism is at its highest when everything starts to hit a reset, because every year, as more people start to regain that confidence that this is a destination, that we're not destined to floods and 100-year floods every year. Once people have that short-term memory erased from them and they see this magical place for themselves, they can't help but fall in love and reinvest. You see, I know what Englewood looked like before these storms. I remember Stump Pass. I remember the way the beaches looked. It's why I fell in love with this place. But remember, the person laying their eyes on this for the first time, all they're seeing is the wonder and the beauty and the magic. All the same reasons we fell in love. They are completely oblivious to the way the landscape looked before. So whether you're old, whether you're new, whether you're a young family or a retiree, there's really room for you. But what I'm telling you is the future's looking bright. But what I want to do is go meet up with Caleb. I know we discussed a lot. We talked about the market. I want to dive a little bit deeper, revisit some of these topics, discuss where we think that market's going. But more importantly, we'll have an open conversation of, quite frankly, what we're sick and tired of in this Englewood market and what we want to see coming to this market. And most importantly, we want to hear what you have to say. We have a voice, but we're not the heroes of the story. We're just the messengers. We want to make sure that your voice is elevated through our platform, so we make this Englewood Easy a place where, whether you're rich, whether you're someone who's just making it, that there's a place for all of us to fish. So let's go meet up with Caleb and discuss if Englewood Easy is your future home. So I made my way over to Chadwick Park to see my buddy Caleb. What's going on, Caleb?
I tell you, how can I be bad? Look around. Here we are in the heart of Englewood. This place is just incredible.
Again, if it's the first time meeting, Caleb and I were both real estate relocation experts. We have our pulse on the market, and Englewood to us has always been near and dear. I live here. Caleb lives right up the road on that Venice border, but Englewood is that pass-through town, and we talked about a lot about this market. We talk about it every year. That's why we have our annual update, and I discussed somewhat on that bridge where that resale market is, that value proposition, the fact that there's arbitrage going on all around us. Things are developing from all the surroundings, from infrastructure, new construction, and what we're seeing as of recent is a few indicators. Number one, people are moving here. Nothing's deterred them. People in the 300s, the 400s, the 500s, they're moving here in droves. They've realized the market's not changing. We've probably hit bottom and there's some great opportunities, but we see indicators in particular in that new construction. And an interesting marker that we see here, where do people go? People go where the food is. There is a grocery store that's doubling down over here, right?
Yeah, Publix is really doubling down in the area. You know, just south of us, there's the Placida store, and that store, they are shutting it down and rebuilding it, and it's going to be one of the biggest Publix in this whole area. Their next plan is to redevelop the one on Dearborn. So that one, that's an old store. It's due for an update, and they're coming through and they're going to do that. So if Publix is upgrading, it tells me that money's coming this way, they're preparing for it and developing accordingly.
And if you're not familiar with Publix, it's the top grocery store in all of Florida. They have incredible sandwiches, incredible chicken. It's a place where somehow people always win the lottery. So if you're buying tickets, go to Publix and buy it. But what they do is they're not building down here with a hope and a wish and a dream. They do comprehensive density studies. They look at their numbers, they look at demand, they look at their shelves and their inventory. And what they've projected is that people are moving down here. The place is growing. It's the top grocery store in the surrounding area, even with bustling Venice, which has always been top of that national radar. We're here, we're growing, and we see other indicators as well. Let's talk new construction, which is our backyard, our wheelhouse. Let's talk about in the backyard. Let's talk maybe some new things that just broke ground, a great value proposition.
Yeah, but we'll talk about Beach Walk first real quick, because that's, you know, that's a neighborhood that's been coming in for what, 4 years they've been building there. We've absolutely are hitting a home run in that neighborhood because people want to live by the beach and they love the idea of having all the gated amenities and the great restaurant in the neighborhood. But what Lanir was touching on before is that great new neighborhood that Pulte's building, the sister company of DeVosta, that shores at Stillwater, and they're offering great options down there. They have starter homes, villas that are in the probably mid threes. You can get them, and if you want an added pool onto those villas, they can have that option there. And they have single families, and they all the way up to 2 stories. They have a little bit of everything in shores of Stillwater, so we see it. The developments,
just 4 miles from where we are right now.
Those developments are coming here. The new construction, all those builders, they see the potential of Englewood, and it's the natural progression. If you look at it on a map, Venice is almost tapped out. That's why they went east to Wellen Park. And the only real beach direction you can go is to come to Englewood. So we really feel that this area is ripe for redevelopment. There's going to be a ton of money coming here.
It's been happening. Caleb touched on it. Beach Walk is kind of our analytical indicator. Beach Walk has been one of those first new construction, amenity-rich, restaurant on site, 2.5 miles from Sarasota Beach, located in Englewood, and it's been a phenomenon. It's something that people, every time we do a Beach Walk video, every time we announce some sort of price reduction, it not only does the phone start ringing, but we get clients coming down here in droves, selling those great opening price points like villas. And why villas? Even though our clients, they range from, I told you that 20,000 acre lots to $20 million builds, people are seeing that there's a great reset here because of that arbitrage. Because if you take that same villa and you move it just upward to Lakewood Ranch, or you put it in Boca Grande, it's going to be $100,000 to $150,000 more. That's where that arbitrage comes in, and that's why Wellen Park is stemming this way. Speaking of Wellen Park and that conduit, there's a neighborhood that already exists in Englewood that's had a huge 40-year run. Now they're expanding into Wellen Park.
Yeah, and that's Boca Royale. Boca Royale was built, I think, almost 50 years ago that was started. 10 years ago, Neal Communities came in and they took over that neighborhood, bought it, and then they've expanded it. They've had a ton of new construction in there with Neal Communities. They have a Neal Signature Enclave in there, and now they're expanding into that Wellen Park, which Lanir was touching on. They have a cut through that's going to eventually get them them right into Wellen Park. So all Boca Royale, all Boca East, or I guess now it's called Boca Royale at Wellen Park, that will all connect into Wellen Park. So Englewood is going to have its own little entrance into private entrance for those community members to get right into Wellen Park.
Like we said before, all roads are leading to the beach, and that beach is here in Englewood. So that new construction, those grocery stores, the influx of density coming to the area, it's certainly an indicator that we are in almost a pre-boom situation.
Yeah.
The arbitrage is happening. I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be around for long. This isn't a sales pitch. It's just common sense, common knowledge. We're seeing all of our case studies from all the surrounding area. We're watching that price point, that average square foot go up exponentially. We know it's only a matter of time. You can't stop change. You can't stop time. It's inevitable. So part of this is getting that message out, talking about what is great about this area, but let's talk also about the pains. Let's talk about some of the things that we're absolutely sick and tired of. I've been dying to talk about it. I know many of our viewers are. Can we get some of these things that have been destroyed over the last couple of years? I'm looking right now at beautiful water, beautiful fishing marina, but I can see a straight shot right behind me. The camera doesn't see it. A building that's been destroyed since Hurricane Ian. We're talking about what, almost 3 years ago?
Yeah, it's time. You know, some of these, I don't know what the situation is. They all, I'm sure it's very complex, but the time needs to be that an investor comes in here, offers these people a buyout, solve that problem for them, and rebuild something special. But something special for everyone.
But I don't mean to cut you up, but you touched on something. I will, because Caleb mentioned something that's very vital to this, and what I was trying to get at, I knew he would say it. He mentioned investor. I'm looking at a problem that we all hate, that pains us all. Aside from that building, that's just one example. It's those signs, those old commercial restaurants, those shopping centers that have had the broken sign. Some of these things just need some tender loving care, but I myself, if I could foot the bill, I would. If Caleb could, he would too. But we need investors. We can't villainize all of the other people who are looking from the outside in, who look at the beauty of it despite what we've been through and want to put their money where their mouth is and invest in our infrastructure. So that's one thing I think that is the pain for others, is that investor, is that change, right?
And we need commercial investment also. Like Lanir said, these shopping centers that, you know, shopping centers are to a degree a thing of the past, and they need to be developed. Maybe a mixed use neighborhood where you have part commercial, part residential. Something to really, you know, we've seen projects like that in Sarasota work beautifully, and I think it might be time to bring that kind of mindset and that type of construction down here to Englewood.
I think something to take into consideration, Englewood is really unique because it sits partially on Charlotte County side, partly on Sarasota County, and we're unincorporated, so we don't have the same governance and bureaucracy that others have. We also don't have the same budget that others have. Everyone's always looking at the other, waiting for someone to foot the bill. Well, what I'm telling you, what's important is to allow those newcomers, those people with a vision, those people who love old Englewood but need to bring some things up to speed, like our roads, our bridges, those signs, those old decrepit buildings. But let's talk about some good things. But by the way, the bad things, we want to hear from you, right?
Absolutely. We want to hear, you know, maybe you're local and you live down here and you've been here for a couple years and you've lived through it, and there's some things you're tired of that you want to see people change, or you want to talk about some of the great things that have happened over the last few years and why you want to keep Englewood the way it is. So we want your comments. So always feel free to reach out to us directly or in our comments section. Leave comments so that we understand how you feel, and it's not only about our opinions, we want to hear yours too.
Remember, we're the messengers, you're the heroes of the story. Whether you lived here or you're moving here, we're speaking directly for you, to you, and hopefully that this will be something that's going to lend to the value. But let's talk about some fun stuff. Let's all play developer for a second. What do you want to see coming to the area? I know one thing that's a huge void here. You and I talk about it all the time.
What's that?
Can we get some more hotels?
Yeah, there's not a hotel, a good hotel. It's more motels. You know, nothing against Minnesota Beach, Minnesota Beach Resort.
Minnesota Key Resort, which is beautiful and cute, and I hope it remains because it's part of that old Florida feel.
And we wish them well while they're rebuilding, because they were affected last year, and I think they're back up, and we don't want to take away from that type of hotel. We just think that right now, all of our customers, they love Englewood, but their options, where are they going to stay? Port Charlotte, or all the way up at the 75 exit at Jacaranda. That's the closest hotel down here. I think hotels might actually ease some of the traffic too, because once you build that hotel, you offer all of those guests a free shuttle service to the beach that maybe runs every half an hour, so that alleviates all of those tourists that are coming here. They don't need to park at the beach. Save that for the locals. Let's set up a great shuttle system so that we can move those tourists around and not fill up all of our parking lots.
You know, let me be more specific. When I say hotels, I want I wanted different tiers of hotels. We've already have that great mom and pop, that Minnesota Key Resort. We hope they fully rebuild. We hope that they're completely booked for eternity because they're something special. They put their best foot forward. They opened that restaurant. They made that beach more interactive. It wasn't just a natural wonder. It was a destination where you can be fully entertained. But I'd like to see some high-end luxury here. I can't necessarily afford a $10 million penthouse, but I love the aesthetic. I love the landscaping that comes with it. I love the cars. I'm a car guy. I don't think you can live in Englewood without being a car guy, whether it's a 55 Mustang or a 54 and a half Mustang or a brand new Lambo. I get excited about both. I think most of us do, but we want to see a balancing act, just like what happened in downtown Sarasota and Siesta Key. You embrace the old, but you bring in the new, and you find that harmonic balance. We see that happening. We're working on some projects ourselves. We hear the chattering, we see the interest, we know what this place can be, and we're super high on it. See, the future is bright for Englewood. You may not be able to see it from where you're standing, but from our perspective, having the YouTube channel, having expertise in this, talking to builders, not just here, but nationwide, buyers from all over the world, we know that this place is near and dear to everyone's heart. We're big on all those new constructions. Caleb's talked in all our videos about the new infrastructure, how incredible that is. We want to see what you want for this area, whether it's a quick service restaurant. Obviously, we know Chick-fil-A, that's always on people's radar.
Yeah, everyone's always asking for that, but you know, I think we need some just good variety here. You know, with all that, with everything that's happened over the last few years, it's time for that commercial reinvestment, whether it's small restaurants. We want the mom and pop restaurants because that's what makes Englewood special. We're not looking for the big chain restaurants to come down here and take over. That's not Englewood, and we don't want any of that.
But we do want national recognition. We do want that love and support. We want, if we ever go through a tumultuous time, we want the world to know who we are, what we're about, and we want them to jump in here and protect this beautiful Englewood easy. I mean, this is something to love. It's something for everyone. Whether you're on the top of the food chain or you're just like us, regular guys, there's a place for billionaires and fishermen to rub elbows, enjoy the never-ending summer, world-class sunsets, but most of all, it's all about the community. It's beyond those four walls and the roof. It's about you, it's about Caleb, it's about our community, about Lanir, our families, and everything in between.
All right, so I think we've covered a lot today. Englewood's a pretty special place. So for This Week in Venice, Florida, I'm Caleb.
And I'm Lanir.
And we'll see you next week.